Hey there, I'm Elizabeth and I'm a public school educator, and I'm going to share with you today information about how you can run an Edcamp using a tool called Lucidspark. Lucidspark is one of my favorite tools to use in the classroom because it's such a versatile tool that can do so many things, and I especially love using it for a virtual Edcamp. So for those who may not be familiar with the concept of an Edcamp or haven't participated in one yet, it's a participant-driven professional development opportunity where folks come together and talk about things that they're interested in learning more about or share areas of expertise that they have with other educators. I find it to be one of my favorite professional development opportunities because I find that I make connections with other educators that last far beyond the professional learning opportunity. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about how you can use Lucidspark to run an Edcamp. So first, there's a couple of things that are important to know. One is that when you're running an Edcamp, you're going to need not just this template, but you're also going to need a video conferencing platform. Lucidspark offers integration with Zoom. So if your school division uses Zoom, that might be a great option to pursue to see if you can get that set up because it'll make it really seamless for folks. But if you don't have Zoom, that's okay. You can use any video conferencing platform and it'll still work. The other thing to know is that it's important to have more than one facilitator to run an Edcamp, whether it's in person or virtually. You're going to need someone who is serving as like a host, someone who's welcoming people into the Edcamp, helping them to understand the directions and navigate the space. And then you're going to need some behind the scenes people, or at least one behind the scenes person who's helping to get everything set up for the breakout groups. So the first thing that folks will do is they'll come into the room and they'll grab a sticky note. And this is just like in a regular Edcamp. They're going to take the sticky note and drag it over to the whiteboard. So in an in-person traditional Edcamp, typically there'll be a whiteboard space with paper sticky notes where people will stick their ideas. So we've just replicated that here in a virtual setting. So someone might come here and say, you know what, I really want to learn about artificial intelligence. That's something that's really important right now in my classroom. So they go ahead and add a sticky note. And then another person might come along and say, you know what, I also want to learn about artificial intelligence. So rather than adding an additional sticky note with that idea, what that person could do is they could simply add an emoji to indicate that they also agree with that. That's a topic that they would like to discuss during the Edcamp. After folks have added all the sticky notes that they want to add, they can go over to this visual activity that Lucid has created. And we'll go ahead and click start. And these visual activities are so cool. There's so many templates that folks could use, and they're really fun for just kind of getting a conversation started and breaking the ice for people to learn a little bit about who else is in the room. This visual activity says, do you agree with these statements? And the first one is the books are always better than the movies. So I'm going to go ahead and chart how much I agree with that. I personally... my opinion is that the books are always better than the movies, and I feel pretty strongly about that. So I'm going to go ahead and chart that right here. So I'll take some time to go ahead and chart the rest of the responses if I'm a participant in this Edcamp, and then when I'm done, I'll click submit. And when I click submit, I have an option to view the results. I can see what other people responded, and it's really fun to see just kind of how all over the map folks are. So then I'm going to click back to document to return to where I was. So while folks are completing that visual activity, the behind the scenes facilitators are starting to organize these sticky notes into different topics. So the whiteboard might be filled with sticky notes, and the facilitator might see, oh, okay, we've got a sticky note about artificial intelligence. And then we might have a sticky note where someone wants to share information about academic integrity with artificial intelligence. They have some expertise or some ideas around how they're making that happen in their classroom. Or someone might want to share or learn more about how they can use artificial intelligence instructionally in their classroom. So the facilitator would group all of those like topics together and would begin to fill out this schedule that's down here. So for instance, here the topic might be artificial intelligence. Maybe another topic could be social emotional learning. Maybe a topic could be integrating career exploration, and so on. So the facilitator will go ahead and fill out this schedule. And once folks have had a chance to complete the visual activity and it's time to start the Edcamp, the host will go ahead and bring folks back together and let them look at the schedule so that they can pick a topic to start with. So once people have picked which breakout room they want to go to, in a traditional Edcamp setting, when you're in person, usually what people would do is they would go to this, instead of breakout room one, this would say classroom one, classroom two. They would go to a specific room or a space in a large room to have a discussion with the other folks who are interested in talking about that topic. Instead, we're going to send people to breakout rooms. So they would go to a virtual breakout room in Zoom or your video conferencing platform of choice, and they'll go to a breakout room in Lucid. And they can easily navigate to that breakout room by clicking on the table of contents down here at the bottom of the page. So if I click here, I can go to breakout one, and that's going to take me right here to this breakout room. You'll see here that we have a new Lucidspark, but I have an option to return to the main board, which will bring me right back to where I was when I started. There's a space for folks to take notes about who are the participants and to record their ideas, record any resources that have been shared during the time. And you'll also notice down here, there are two other spaces for folks to take notes, and they can use the table of contents to navigate between those down here for the future breakouts around whatever topic is going to be discussed in this breakout room.